Hello, I'm Ken Murphy, Managing Director of GP Connections. Work health and safety is a very important and major concern amongst businesses, and professional practices are no different. It affects people that your staff members, your visitors, contractors, general public, patients that come into your business. The next few minutes will cover some of the key items that you need to take into consideration, such as the policies that you need to have in place, some of the systems that you need to make sure that you've got going, and a few of the other things that just make that place a little bit safer for you, your staff, your visitors, contractors, and your patients. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Employee health and safety in a professional practice is vital and just as important as any other business. There's a lot of legislation around, but certainly the critical legislation that is applicable is the Work Health and Safety Act of 2011, plus the associated regulation and multiple codes of practice that come under the legislation. It's important for any business, including professional practices, to have company policies in place to make sure that you, your staff, contractors and visitors are aware of the requirements as they enter your workplace. You as a practice manager, practice principal or a senior manager within a workplace, including a professional practice, have a duty of care to your patients, to your staff and to your visitors. You need to make sure that you have in place all of the necessary requirements. Equally, the employees and the contractors also have a duty of care, that they have a responsibility to look after themselves and look after their own health and safety. As a business, you need to make sure that you've given all of your employees sufficient training to make sure that they can carry out their duties in a safe manner that ensures that they're able to fulfill their role within the business. You should also make sure that staff are aware that disciplinary action, including dismissal, is within their contracts or in their employment contracts, to make sure that if they don't follow the safety precautions and safety procedures, they can be held responsible. One very important policy that you should have in place is a drug and alcohol policy. People must know what their rights are and what their legal obligations are for alcohol and drugs, including prescription drugs. Working at heights, the definition of working at heights is if there is a risk of falling from one level to another. So whilst professional practice may not see that that's an issue or a problem, there are certain circumstances like changing a light bulb or something like that where they may be on a ladder or climbing up to another shelf for some files. At that time, the Act actually comes into play and there is a risk of an injury from working at heights. Back injuries. Have a look around at your staff, how they're sitting, how they're positioned at their desk, what they're doing, what they're lifting. They're the sorts of things that you as a practice manager, practice principal, have a duty to look after and make sure that you are following through and making sure that people are lifting things the right way, not injuring their back. Back injuries do take a long time to repair themselves, if at all, so it can be a very costly exercise down the track. Chemical handling. There are various chemicals within a professional practice that do require a safety data sheet, and certainly you do need to be aware of just what chemicals are there that are used by the staff from time to time, including chemicals such as bleaches, and other cleaning liquids and fluids. One very important procedure that you must have in place, and certainly all staff are aware, is your fire and emergency evacuation procedure. They need to be available and in full view of everyone that enters the place, including contractors and patients. It's always good to encourage incident reporting, even minor incidents, because they're the ones that can often be show up later that could have prevented a major incident or a major accident. And if you haven't done anything to prevent that, you will find yourself on the wrong side of the law. All injuries should be reported, no matter how minor they are. And if an employee goes on to workers' compensation, there is an obligation where suitable duties and programs may need to be put into place to get them back to work sooner. So rehabilitation is certainly an area that needs to be looked at within your own practice. Slips and falls, they account for over half of all reported injuries to members of the public. So with a practice with patients coming and going all the time, have a look around, make sure that you've got yourself covered, that there isn't any major tripping hazards or slippery floors or cords around that can cause a problem for people that aren't quite aware or coming around corners. Fatigue, it's the responsibility of the company to ensure that the hours of work are structured to avoid the potential for fatigue and any other work-related accidents within a workplace. You need to make sure that your staff are looked after and made sure that they aren't showing up to work fatigued and that they are fit and in an alert state, capable of doing their duties. You should have a hazard identification process identified and documented under the requirement of the Work Health and Safety Act 2011. There is a very strong requirement to prove that you are identifying hazards and what you're doing with them. One clear, easy way of doing that is having a safety audit that will address various things, including the noise, any plant or electrical hazards, hazardous substances, your training and supervision. You need to have some risk assessments. Here is a very simple risk assessment that shows the slips, trips and falls. These are the things that you need to have documented, because in the event of an incident or a major accident where the department does come by, this will be the first thing that they will be looking for. The Work Health and Safety Act does have a lot of requirements and a lot of issues and a lot of problems for businesses that aren't complying. We all want to come to work and we all want to leave work the same way we arrived. And as a business owner, business principal, business manager, we are conscious that we want to make sure that our staff and our visitors, contractors also do the same. GP Connections can assist and able to assist you with any safety audits or risk assessments as to help you with meeting these requirements. Thank you for listening. If you require any further information, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.